And we're live from the Racecourse Ground, Wrexham, Ipswich Town in FA Cup fourth round action this evening here against Championship promotion rivals. Of course, we'll do this all again right back here in North Wales next weekend in the league. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. Hello to you all. Let's have a little chat about teams, shall we? Because as predicted, as expected, lots of them from both teams. More from an Ipswich Town perspective. 10 changes from Kieran McKenna from the team that started at Derby, the 2-1 win last weekend at Pride Park. Cedric Kipray, the only man to keep his place in the team from that. Everyone else has changed. I'll run you through it. Alex Palmer in goal. Started the season as number one, lost his place through injury. Christian Walton, has kept him out, so he's having to make do with cup minutes for now. Palmer back in goal. Ben Johnson, the lesser spotted Ben Johnson at right back. The same central defensive duo as against Blackpool in round 3. Cedric Kipray shuffling across to right-sided centre-half, partnered by Jacob Greaves, he says, with a slight question mark, because Elkan Baggett is the other man in this back four. I'm assuming Baggett is the left back rather than Greaves, but it could be the other way around. We'll have to wait and see. Central midfield 2, Dan Neil making his full debut after an encouraging cameo off the bench last weekend at Derby. Looks like he's going to be the holding midfielder. Maybe a little bit of an audition in case Hazel Masiwa picks up that 2-game ban soon. He will be partnered by Jens Kajusta in central midfield. And then the four up top. Casey McAteer on the right, looking to kick on after that match-winning assist off the bench last weekend. Chuba Akpom on the left. We saw a little brief experimentation of that at Derby. He starts on the left today. And talking of experimentation, Sindre Vala Ageli in the number 10 slot. I think that's the first time he'll have started a game there for Ipswich. We've seen it in-game briefly a couple of times when he became the Championship record signing for Ipswich. We were told that long-term, Kieran McKenna and he see his future sort of in a more central role. So we'll see how he looks there tonight. And then up front, wearing the captain's armband, no less, George Hurst, someone who could do with a goal. His last goal was in the 3-0 win against Coventry. You then have to go back to his brace of headers against QPR back in early November for his previous goals. Does the captain's armband give him a little bit of a lift tonight? It's the first time he'll have skipped at the side, certainly in a competitive game. I thought it might be Leif Davis in the absence of Dara O'Shea tonight, but it's Hurst who is the skipper. Very strong bench. David Button steps onto the bench as the goalkeeper tonight. Then we've got Matasiwa, touched to new rules this season. Jack Clark, and then Somto Boniface, the young left back who's been doing really well in the under-21s. No Tudor Mendel, he's been involved with the squad this week. Kieran McKenna did say in his pre-match that would be dependent on availability. So there's your Ipswich Town team tonight. Thoughts on the team, thoughts on the game ahead, thoughts on whether you really want Ipswich to progress in the FA Cup. There's some big pros and cons. Pros, of course, being winning is a habit, winning is momentum. You should always want to win every game of football that you play. The squad is built for games. It's a chance for Pete to get people like Dan Neil up to speed. It's a chance to try some different things. Win tonight and you're into the last 16. Win again and you're into the quarters. Then you're sniffing a trip to Wembley, a place that Ipswich have never played at, the new Wembley, one of a handful that haven't. And could that boost confidence for a promotion push? Cons, it's another game in an already hectic schedule. We've had 2 trips to Blackburn. We've got a twice postponed trip to Portsmouth to slot into the schedule. Get through tonight in the home game against Leicester on March the 7th. Would also have to be changed and slotted into a schedule. And there's not many midweek slots left, to be honest, when you take the either side of Easter out, an international break, etc., etc. So I'm conflicted on this. Kieran McKenna at his pre-match press conference yesterday said that, there's no getting away from it. If we get through, it's going to pose a challenge, but we can't go into this game half-hearted. I'm going to remain a much changed team. I'm excited to see what some of these other players can do. We'll have a real swing at it. If we get through, I'll be happy. He hasn't said it explicitly, but I get the feeling there'll be no tears shed if Ipswich do go out tonight. David here's asked, is it cold there, Stuart? David, yes it is. I think the weather forecast said it was around freezing, but feels like below freezing. No, I wouldn't say it's quite that, but I've got 5 layers on. I've got a scarf and gloves to call upon if needed. So I'm sure the temperature is going to dip over the next hour or so. Alex, is this? I'm assuming this is our Alex Jones, who is safely in the warmth of his own home tonight because he's jetting off to New York tomorrow. Lucky bugger. He's asked, has Ryan Reynolds asked for a selfie yet? No, he hasn't. It's a £10 fee if he does, and if he asks nicely, I will oblige. Andrew, Mendo injured, question mark, didn't see him dressed for 21s either. No, 21s play tonight. Mendel's been with the squads all this week in preparation for this game. I think he's just the extra man, the 21st man here tonight. As I said yesterday, Kieran McKenna is pretty much press conference said he'd be maybe involved depending on availability. So to me, that means that maybe there was a question mark over fitness for one of those players on the bench tonight, but they have come through, and that means Tudor Mendel has a watching brief tonight. But all good experience for him, being around the first team squad all this week, being around the team for this game tonight. I'm sure his time will come because by all accounts he's been very impressive and racking up the goals and assists for the 21s in the PL2 this season. Horse Holler, evening Stu, good evening, very happy with this lineup. What an incredible so-called second string we had, especially with Nunez and Jaden still out. Yeah, it's remarkable, isn't it? Ipswich's chief assister in Marcelino Nunez, no longer the top goal scorer, but arguably the biggest X-factor player that Ipswich have got in Jaden Philogene. Both out, Ipswich are still able to make 10 changes and name a team that most championship sides would probably swap with you in a heartbeat for. Chuba Akpom, former Golden Boot winner at this level. Casey McAteer, £11.5 million. Jacob Greaves cost a pretty penny. George Hurst was leading the line last time Ipswich got promoted. Sindre Barlett-Ageli, championship record signing. Dan Neal, skippered his boyhood club to championship promotion last season. Alex Palmer, first choice goalkeeper going into this season. And then a power pack bench as well. So I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there'll be too many qualms about the amount of changes Kieran McKenna has made for this tie in the context of the season, or any question marks about its ability to come here and win. Wrexham haven't gone quite so changed. They lost 2-0 at home to Millwall last weekend. They're 6th in the championship table, gunning for a remarkable 4th successive promotion that would take them all the way from the National League through to the Premier League. Amazing. I don't care what you say about how much money they've spent. It is a Hollywood story with what they've done here. Having the money is one thing. Being able to get promotions along the way. Phil Parkinson has done a remarkable job reinventing the team along the way. He hasn't gone too mad in trying to chase sexy foreign signings. It's been solid signings, experience for the level that they've been at, and I think he's done it again this summer, last summer, again in the January transfer window. You only have to look through their team. Josh Windass, I think, was a really smart pickup last summer. The back 4 tonight, with the 5 changes have all come in at the top end of the pitch. He's gone with the usual back 4. Okonkwo, the penalty shootout hero, the goalkeeper against Nottingham Forest in the last round, and then the usual back 3 of Cleaver, Hyam and Doyle, who they got from Man City for a decent bit of money, 10 mil, had championship loan spells. Hyam, ex-Blackburn, knows the level, so they've gone with a solid defensive base and then a smattering of changes at the top end of the pitch. Neither of Ipswich's neither of the two. Sorry, do you want to get past? Sorry. Phil Ham's decided to have a conversation with Andy Warren over the top of my head while I'm doing this. That's fine. I hope it's important. What was I saying? Yeah, it's two Ipswich players in the Wrexham ranks, Nathan Broadhead and Kiefer Moore. Neither of them in the starting lineup tonight. Nathan Broadhead, both of them on the bench actually. Nathan Broadhead's had a bit of a groin injury, I believe, that's kept him out recently. He's fit enough for the bench. Kiefer Moore drops out of the starting lineup. He's on the bench. Sam Smith starts up front for them. Do they really want to get through either, given what's at stake? They've got a trip to Bristol City on Tuesday night coming up, in between this and take two of Wrexham Ipswich next weekend. Any more for any more before I call this to an end? Evening, Stu. I think it could go to pens. We will win them this time around. Bouncy, I really hope not, because that is a real challenge for our print deadlines tonight. That is going to be really tight to the wire for sorting out the newspaper. I hope you're wrong on that front. I fear you're right, because Ipswich's last 3 cup exits have all come on penalties. Forest in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Last season, what else did we have? We had Wimbledon in the League Cup earlier in that season. We had Bromley in the League Cup earlier this season. Is it about time Ipswich won a penalty shootout? Law of averages and all that. We'll see. Mark, does Akpom on the left mean that Philigine's out longer term? Hope not. I think there was talk about the plan was always for him and Nunez to be reintegrated for the league game next weekend. There was talk that Philogene might even have been back in the squad if the Portsmouth game had gone ahead fairly recently. He's had what is described as a minor setback for both of those two. I don't see any reason for Kieran McKenna to tell any white lies on that now the transfer window is shut. It's just a chance to give Jack Clark a rest tonight, and with no other sort of real left wing options, they're going to have Mametti could have played, of course, but just trying to have a look at something a little bit different tonight. Akpom looked quite effective in that sort of it's not really a left wing role, it's the inside left forward role that Broadhead played before, and he looked quite good there in the latter stages at Derby last weekend. So we'll see if that happens again. Right, thank you for joining me, everybody. Fantastic away following just over to my right shoulder behind the dugouts. Sell out, Andy? How many? 1,100 and something, a sellout, which is remarkable. A Friday night in Wrexham. I know it's a new ground for many, but the fact that Ipswich are coming back here next weekend tells you everything about this fantastic blue support. What am I hoping for? Better than the 0-0 home draw at Portman Road, where Wrexham was stubborn, deep-lying opposition. Ipswich, tons of shots, but weren't able to break them down. Some missed chances in there, but huffed and puffed a little bit at times as well. I think this lends itself to a more open game. As I say, does either side really want to win it? I think they'd like to go through. Not that bothered if they go out. Lots of players want to stake their claim. It means that, in Kieran McKenna's words, they can have a real swing at this tonight. So enjoy it if you're watching on TV. BBC Wales. If you're not and you want to follow the live updates on our website as usual. Thanks for following. See you on the other side.